Okay, so welcome back. And so today we're going to do an example of how we add whole numbers together. Okay, so in an application type problem. Okay, so in this type of problem here, what we have is we have shipping fees. And so shipping fees are often charged by the total weight. Okay, and so we've got this order. Let's say this is a construction job. Let's say you're building something, and so this is one of your orders, and you've got nails. So you order 250 pounds of nails, 75 pounds of tacks, 12 pounds of brackets, and 8 pounds of screws. Okay, so let's say these are all the some of the hardware you need. Okay, so we're going to add these poundages, these weights up to get a total. So the first step is we're going to write these in columns. So I'm going to write them in columns. So that's, and again, I'm going to line them up so that the ones places in the same column. So I'm going to write 250, and then 75, and then 12, and then 8. Oops, wrong operation. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, starting with the ones column, I'm going to add these, and I'm going to regroup when necessary. So this column here adds up to 15. Well, 15 is bigger than 9. So I'm going to have to bring 10 over to the next, into the tens column, right? So if I put 15 here, right, I can't put 15 here, so I'm going to put the 5 here. Well, where does the extra 10 go? Well, it goes in the tens column. So I'm going to carry the 10 over to the tens column. And now I'm going to add the tens column. And so if I add the tens column, I get 14. Well, I can't fit 14 in here. So I'm going to put the 4 down in here because I'm adding the tens here. So now what's happening? Where does that extra 10? Well, the 10 then goes to the next column. And so I add down and I get 3. So the answer is 345 pounds is the total weight. Okay? Now notice here, again, going to place value. So remember place value that we talked about. This column represents the ones. This represents tens, this represents hundreds. So when I add these ones, I get 15. So the 10 that was left over from the 15 goes to the tens column. Now I'm adding all of these tens. So think about it. I'm not adding necessarily 5 plus 7 plus 1 plus another 1. I'm adding tens. So this is 50 plus 70 plus 10 plus 10, which gives me 140. Well, I can't stick 140 in here, right? I have to put the 100 into the hundreds column. And then I add these again. I'm not adding 2 and 1, I'm adding 200 plus 100, which gives me 300. So again, going back to the idea of place value, you get an understanding of what we're doing and why we're doing the regrouping, right? So now, let me show you another way that I do this that will avoid carrying. So in high school, just to give you an example, in high school, I learned a new way of doing adding, subtracting, multiplication, division. And so in high school, I was always very interested in how to do things better, faster, and to make myself more efficient when it came to school. And so I came across a program called The Human Calculator by Scott Flansburgh. Came across this program in 1991. And he was a young kid, probably in his 20s, 29 maybe, 20 or early 30s. And he was showing all these things that he learned when he was 9 years old on his own. So one of the things he does, and that now I do and I teach my kids at home, is that I no longer add right to left. I add left to right. And so if we did that, how would that look? So if I add, like reading a book, and I deal with the bigger place values first and add from left to right, well, how would that look? Well, if I add down, this becomes 200, right? So if I add, I have 200, but then if I add these together, I get what? I get 13, right? Or what this is actually 130. Well, if I have 200 plus 130, well, that gives me what? 330. And then if I add these columns down, I get what? 15. So if I have 330 plus another 15, what does that give me? 345. And I did it all in my head. So if you add, you can avoid having to deal with the regrouping in a manner of speaking. You don't have to deal with the carrying because you're doing the regrouping as you go along. Or another way of doing it, if again, once you get good at it, you can, it's also called the scratch method, right? So if I add 2, if I add this down, I get what? 13. So I scratch this out and put 3. And if I add this column down, I get what? I get 15. So I'm going to scratch this out and put 4, and I get 345. So there's another way to do it. Okay? But the concept is still the same. Okay? So, other than that, have a great day. See you next time.